Hello, beloved souls, it's Adele here. This reflection is for those of you who care deeply about your words, your intentions, and the way you meet life and people. Because many of us explain ourselves not from uncertainty, but from a genuine desire to be clear, respectful, and understood. In the context of opening to life again, this matters more than we might realize, because true openness is not sustained through effort or over-explaining, but through the freedom that comes from trusting yourself, honoring your boundaries, and allowing life to meet you without needing to justify who you are. Explanation itself is not the issue, as clear communication supports understanding and helps relationships and interactions flow. Yet over-explanation begins when clarity has already been reached and the words continue, often as extra context that is no longer needed, as justifications for choices that do not require defending, or as information that has quietly lost relevance to the moment or the connection. For many, this habit forms through sensitivity and attunement to others, or from environments where being clear once felt necessary for safety or acceptance, while at other times it reflects blurred boundaries, where we unconsciously take responsibility not only for the care and clarity of our words, but also for preventing misunderstanding, discomfort, or disapproval. Unity-based communication honors that words have impact and therefore asks us to speak with care, presence, and integrity, while over-explanation begins when that care shifts into managing how we are perceived, interpreted, or received, rather than trusting that what has been expressed clearly is enough. What this reflection gently invites is not withdrawal or hardness, but discernment. Learning how to remain open, authentic, and present with life, while releasing the subtle ways we exhaust ourselves by explaining more than is needed, and discovering how much lighter, freer, and more grounded it feels when we allow ourselves to simply be. As this awareness deepens, a subtle distinction begins to emerge between explanation and communication. Explanation is about information, while communication is about connection, which is why something can be explained accurately without creating understanding, just as, at times, very few words, or even silence, can communicate far more than lengthy explanations. Communication is relational and responsive, attuned to context, timing, and the person you are with, sensing when understanding has already landed and when presence itself is doing the work. This is why over-explanation often feels unsatisfying on both sides, because although the words may be correct, the connection does not deepen, not because the explanation failed, but because communication was no longer guiding the exchange. When communication leads, words arise naturally because they serve the interaction, rather than filling silence or easing discomfort. As this awareness deepens, it becomes clear that when communication is no longer guiding the exchange, it is often not because we lack clarity, but because discomfort has entered. And one of the most common forms of that discomfort is being misunderstood. For many people, over-explaining does not come from a lack of self-trust, but from the experience of having their intentions, choices, or words misread, which can trigger an impulse to clarify further, not because they doubt themselves, but because misunderstanding can feel deeply unsettling, especially for those who are sensitive or self-aware. Over time, this can quietly turn into a habit of preemptive explanation, where decisions that do not require justification are explained anyway, and additional context is offered even when no clarification has been requested, which is a very human response, and one where discernment still matters. If someone genuinely wants to understand you, they will show it through curiosity, by asking questions, listening, and remaining open to learning more about your perspective, while the absence of that curiosity usually signals not a failure of explanation, but a settled interpretation that no longer seeks understanding. A person can be kind, warm, gentle, generous, understanding, and deeply grounded, radiating inner peace and integrity, and still not be liked by everyone. This is not a failure of character, communication, or consciousness, but simply the reality that people perceive others through the lens of their own values, awareness, experiences, and level of openness. Differences in awareness, priorities, and inner orientation naturally shape how people respond, and no amount of explanation can turn misalignment into resonance. When someone is not willing to question their assumptions or remain open to understanding more, continuing to explain does not create connection, but instead asks you to expend energy trying to shift a perception that has already been decided. This is where a different kind of strength is invited. The courage to be misunderstood, not as defiance or withdrawal, but as self-respect, expressed through the willingness to let your truth stand without forcing it to be accepted, approved of, or agreed with. When this is allowed, explanation softens naturally, not because the heart has closed, but because you no longer need to defend who you are. As the need to manage how you are perceived softens, you stop relating to life from a defensive posture. Being yourself without defending yourself does not mean being careless or disengaged, but that your sense of self is no longer dependent on agreement, approval, or being fully understood. People do not meet you as you are. They meet you through the lens of who they are, their values, experiences, and relationship with themselves. Because of this, it becomes clear that you cannot argue someone out of a perception rooted in identity. You cannot explain yourself into alignment with fundamentally different values, and when strong reactions arise, you are not necessarily being misread so much as filtered. Those who resonate will make room for your differences, while others may not, and neither response requires you to change who you are. This is not indifference, but grounded self-respect. As you release the need to defend yourself, the way you see people and the world begins to change. You still notice patterns and behaviors clearly, yet there is far less emotional charge, as space opens to pause, breathe, and respond rather than react. This clarity comes not from disengagement, but from understanding, as you recognize that people respond from their own inner worlds, their conditioning, values, and level of awareness, not as an excuse for harmful or thoughtless behavior, but as context that prevents unnecessary personalization. From this place, compassion becomes cleaner, allowing you to care without carrying what does not belong to you, and ease returns naturally. As over-explanation releases, the shift is not only mental, but embodied. You are no longer constantly monitoring how you are being received or preparing explanations in advance, and as the nervous system settles, there is less tension and more ease in simply being present. Emotions still arise, but they move through you more fluidly, as you trust yourself to meet life without managing yourself in order to be accepted. This is what safety begins to feel like in the body. Breathing softens, the chest loosens, and inner space opens. From here, openness returns naturally, not as effort, but as readiness. Being yourself without over-explanation is not about becoming someone new, but about fully accepting who you already are, and allowing yourself to be seen without fear or constant self-management. You still care about others, but you no longer organize your sense of self around their reactions. You become discerning about where you engage, meeting life where there is resonance, curiosity, and respect, and stepping back where those qualities are absent without justification. From this place, being yourself becomes a natural expression of alignment as you meet life, grounded, present, unapologetically yourself, embodying your divine presence more fully each day. If this message spoke to your heart, allow it to support you in being yourself without over-explaining, and in meeting life from a place of alignment, clarity, and self-respect. Together, we raise the frequency of Earth. Every time one more person communicates consciously, honors their boundaries, and releases the need to manage how they are perceived. See you in the next video, where we'll take another step toward health, balance, and higher vibration.